Yeah. At this time, we will bring in our play-by-play announcer. That is yours truly, Michaelan Bonick-Jeteris, bringing you the very first game of the year in WCBL for these two teams. It'll be the Giants taking on the Energy City Cactus Rats. As there's our ceremonial first pitch from the counselor from Ward 4. And it looks as though the teams lining up are awaiting a national anthem and first pitch to follow. The last two teams in the WCBL set to start off their regular season play in just a few moments. Weather looks to be holding up, but some fans hiding underneath the rain as it continues to fall. But a clear forecast in the later part of the evening as the national anthem is ready to be played. Oh, Canada is right. The oldest baseball league here in Canada, going all the way back to 1931. It was the Moose Jaw Canucks who won the championship then. Now, nearly 100 years in the future, it will be the Giants starting their quest for supremacy in the Western Canadian Baseball League. As mentioned before, my name is Michaelan Bonick-Jeteris. That is Michaelan, M-A-C-A-L-A-N, on the mic, on the socials. Feel free to drop the follow, drop the love, as this is something I love to do. I love to do play-by-play. I love to do PA. Whatever I can do in the world of sports and, in parentheses, sports entertainment, I am geared up. This will be my very first time calling anything for the WCBL. However, I have a deep love for baseball. Baseball is one of the greatest sports, if not the greatest sport, and I'm going to tell you a little bit as to why. We're up here in Canada. We're big hockey fans. Obviously, we love hockey. It's one of our big sports. But the one thing that baseball has that hockey doesn't have is the big percentage swinging play. The romance of baseball that exists when you're down by 3 and the bases are loaded and you have 2 strikes against a tough pitcher, you can flip the script of a game 150, almost 200%. You can take sure losses. You have 0.5% chance to win this game, to turning that into a walk-off home run or a game-winning hit, all on a whim. It is what we love about the game of baseball. It is not a game of feet. It is not a game of inches up here in Canada. It is a game of millimeters, and we are very excited to be bringing you the home opener for the Giants here this evening, set to take place in their home city of Fort McMurray, where they play. As I quickly try and review the name of the park, it's Legacy Dodge Field. There it is. The Giants have had a couple great seasons, just not quite good enough to make the playoffs. 20 wins in the last 2 seasons under Joe Eliason, their manager and co. They're still trying to get back to that 2023 winning form, the best season the Giants had. 30 wins, 26 losses. That is 4 games over the 500 mark. They still have yet to win a playoff game. Those 2 playoff appearances come in 2022 and 2023. They both lost 0-2 in the division semifinal. So they're going to hope to build on what I'm sure was a very successful college season. A lot of these players playing south of the border. This will be a very exciting opportunity for all the players to develop their skills one step further as they await the final, or the first, march onto the field. as it looks as though people in attendance are not enjoying the weather, as it is now maybe coming down harder than it was before. But we have a couple young women at the bottom left, just a bottom part of your screen, that are braving the cold. I saw some kids waving to their parents saying, no, we're going to stay here. We're going to stay here. We're not going to go hide with mom and dad up in the press boxes. No, we are going to be cheering on our Giants, rain or shine. As mentioned off the top by General Manager Josh, when the Giants first came into play in the 2016 season, it was just after the aftermath and the wake of the horrible forest fires that they were feeling up in the Fort McMurray area. So their first games actually coming from my hometown, where I am remotely calling this game from, that is Edmonton, Alberta. Wasn't able to catch any of the Giants games when they played here in 2016. But I'm excited here in 2026, now a 10-year-old baseball team in a league that is nearly 100 years old. So much history. And it'll be a few moments till game time yet. As this is what I love most about baseball, the filling of the space. When I was talking to Graham Mossy, we call him, he does the play-by-play for the Giants. He'll be on the call pretty much, say 90% of the season. He'll be on the call for the Giants. He said, McHale, baseball is one of the hardest sports. He's like, there's so much time. There's so much time. There's so much time. I don't think he really understood who he was dealing with in terms of the gift of the gab. I am a bottomless pit of not necessarily educational information, but useless factoids perhaps might be where my wheelhouse is. Just making a mountain out of a molehill when it comes to something to say, as this man at the bottom of our screen is discussing beer prices, perhaps trying to haggle his way to a cheaper hot dog. We're not sure. As the players still yet to take the field, perhaps the umpires meeting with a rain delay. We're not fully sure. Again, I am not down there in person to be able to get these bits of information, but we have a pretty good camera angle to be able to see, much like you can, nothing's going on. I guess, unfortunately, I don't know much about the teams. It's my first time ever doing anything with the Giants or in this league. But I do know a lot about the sport of baseball, my personal relationship with baseball. Played it all the years growing up, all the way up until 18. And as we're famously told, everyone's told at some point you can't play the kids' game anymore. Some of us are told at 40. Well, I was told at 18. And then I transitioned into umpiring in the mighty game of baseball, which is a lot of fun. I remember one of the last times I umpired, got too busy with other things to continue on with it this summer, but I remember I had called a player out at second base, and as the first base coach is walking across the field, he looks at me and he says, "Hey, Blue, you missed 2 calls this game. You missed 2 calls." And my rebuttal back was, "You should see my other games. That's not a bad average." Pause for laughter and applause. As we're still digressing, waiting for the players to take the field. Umpiring is a heck of a hard job. We have a 3-umpire system here in the WCBL. It is a lot of fun, though, to be able to get to be a part of the game in any which way you can. When I was playing, I was a pitcher, and while we just have more moments of pausing, why not share my personal, my favorite baseball memory for me personally as an athlete? I remember I think I had walked a couple batters, but I think I had a no-hitter 4th or 5th. It was, we were doing good, but the team wasn't the best. I just had my 2-seamer working. My changeup was working well off that, and if you can locate those two, it's bread and butter. And I'll never forget, our manager was calling the game to the catcher. So our catcher was looking into the third base dugout. Okay, fastball in, and then he would let me know. A good common system in baseball. The dugout will call the game. And I remember the player who was up to bat, he was right-handed. He was looking into our dugout trying to steal the signs from our manager, which is all fair game. I was dealing. So the manager looks at the hitter and says, "You want to know?" And when he looks right at the hitter, calls him out and says he's going to throw a 2-seamer in. And then we all kind of wait. I kind of wait. And I look in at my catcher, and my catcher kind of shrugs at me and makes the sign, 2-seamer in. I'm like, okay, I guess we'll throw a 2-seamer in. You just told him it's coming, though, coach. And, yeah, he swung and missed. And that happened when I was 16 years old. I am now 30, and I still remember that. I think I told that story at my wedding. But I was never much of a baseball player, more of a of a hoorah type guy. I remember I was on a team with a lot of baseball players who didn't really, they were good at baseball, but they didn't understand the culture. And I'm a very talkative guy. There's a reason why I'm doing this today. As we can see, the weather is really, really coming down. That is going to be the cause for the delay. As you can see, the clouds moving closer and closer to the ground. But you see blue skies behind that, so hopefully just a short delay. But I was more of a hoorah guy, and I remember I was on a team with people who didn't really know a lot about the game of baseball culture, I would say. And I'm hey, had to be swing through it, kid, swing through it. Yeah, hard 90, you got it, kid. Look at this kid fly. That's how I am on the bench. I'm always yapping, I'm always talking. And I remember the manager pulled me aside, said, hey, McKalen, listen, maybe just keep it quiet. Maybe just stop. The players are complaining about you, quote unquote, telling them what to do. And I was like, hey, I'm not telling them what to do. I'm suggesting that they run hard and hit a dinger. That's not me telling them anything. But a great way to introduce myself to the Giants fan base. Recognize we have a lot of people probably watching from further south of our Canadian border down there in America, trying to cheer on their local stars from their universities. Now, I personally spend a decent amount of time in America, being what I like to call a part-time American, marrying into an American family. So a lot of family down there. Makes it nice for work and bouncing back and forth. If you ever need to go down south of the border, we can do so quite easily, which for this line of work does become quite fortunate for me to be able to accept certain positions as temporary or full-time as they may be, as the rain really, really comes down. They were able to get the introductions in the first pitch, and the moment we were ready to play baseball, and I don't know, as mentioned, the WCBL rules of how long they'll wait on this. There is a game scheduled. As little as I know about the league and the teams and the cultures, I do know that there is a game scheduled tomorrow for 6:05 is the first pitch. And if the website is to be trusted, which I hope it is, that is to be played at Elks Field. Yeah, Legacy Dodge today, Elks Field tomorrow, and then the game Sunday, Monday, and just like baseball, it's going to be going full bore, as now, unfortunately, we see even the few children that were toughing it out down there behind home plate are headed to a drier area. You can see now players jogging across the field, perhaps relaying information from the umpires. I will be leaning on the public address announcer hard the moment anything is said to try and get our updates as to how long this delay will be. I don't mind gabbing through it. Welcome to the podcast. This is the Fort McMurray Giants episode 1 of the podcast. This is going to be called the spiritual nature of sports, and times where sports just took over your heart and you just couldn't handle it. For us baseball fans up here in Canada, I think it's very fair to say, when you talk about cultures in sports, especially in Canada, we're a lot smaller than America. There's a lot less attention to be driven around. And I remember growing up looking at the Toronto Raptors, and a lot of people were talking about how Vince Carter is the reason that the Raptors have fans. Now, obviously, that's a little hyperbolic. There's a lot of basketball fans beyond the Vince Carter fans, but there are certain eras of sports in Canada that inspire and define the next generation of sports fans. And I can speak for myself and my generation. For a lot of baseball fans up here in Canada, it's going to be the Joe Carter home run, the back-to-back world championships in the early 90s. Those moments, the Joe Carter one in particular, it makes a baseball fan for life. But for my generation and looking at the Giants fan base now, I'm sure that Jose Bautista, 2015, the bat flip heard around the world, a cultural moment here in Canada that brought baseball to a new audience. That team had swagger. That team had flash. That team had also in Jose Bautista. And this is a cool story. This will kind of tie in to the WCBL quite a bit in terms of never giving up on your dreams. One of my favorite sports stories in Canada is the Jose Bautista baseball story. Jose Bautista in the 2008 trade deadline, actually I think it was a couple days after the trade deadline, because that was back when there was waiver trades in the MLB. He was traded for a bucket of balls and I think a fourth-string backup catcher. I can't even remember who he was traded for, but he was a utility infielder. Had some tools, was good enough to make the majors, but was just kind of good enough to make the majors. And I'm sure these players in this level of baseball might be thinking, well, what's the next step? I might be good enough to play in that next step, whatever that might be, whether that's a different school calling, going to play overseas, perhaps signing on a single A deal with a big league team at some point. You never know where that opportunity is going to come. But you can have this mental hurdle where you think, I might be good enough to make that team, but I don't know if I'm going to be good enough to do anything beyond that. Like, that might be my peak. That was kind of the Jose Bautista story. He was good enough to make the major league team, but where was his peak? And it wasn't till he was, I think, 28, 29 years old. He made a subtle adjustment in his swing and went from a jobber to a 50 home run hitter. Huge moments in the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, and I absolutely love those late bloomer stories. They give us hope. Is baseball more than any other sport? There isn't a 30-year-old baseball fan out there that doesn't have that tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of them that thinks, you know what, maybe I could develop a knuckleball, and you never know. You never know. Maybe I need a new leg kick on my swing, and you never know. Baseball is one of those, that's why we love it. It's the everyman sport. You have guys who are 50 pounds overweight in the major leagues when I was watching, hitting 50 home runs a year, having great seasons. It looked attainable. Look no further than Bartolo Colon. The baseball profession looks attainable. Obviously, there is so much more beyond. The natural skill and gifted talent that goes into these players is on another level, something that the Giants have a lot of this year. You heard the ovations from some of their players. No bigger than their starting pitcher today. At least we suspect that this will end up being their starting pitcher today. That is Ash Amarillin, I believe, if I'm saying that correctly. And talking about how fine of margins exist in this game of baseball. These players are going to know above and beyond just how much practice goes into getting lucky. And that's kind of the MO of baseball. I call a lot of hockey, and my father-in-law, who's on the American side, he was a hockey fan. He's from Minnesota, but when he moved to Edmonton, right, and got to know me, he got more into hockey. It was like he really got to feel the Canadian culture of it. And he was watching hockey goalies, and he said, "McKalen, I feel like when I'm watching hockey goaltenders, what they're doing is they're putting themselves in a position to get lucky." I loved that. I loved the way that he said that, and I've been trying to think about that in more situations of sports. And when I took that quote, "Put yourself in a position to get lucky," and put it over the lens of baseball, it made so much more sense. Baseball is almost 100% on the offensive side, putting yourself in a position to get lucky. You can hit a ball 100 miles an hour right at the shortstop, or you can have a swinging bunt to no man's land that ends up, giving you a stretch double. So you're just really putting yourself in a position to get lucky. Hitting can be so frustrating. I only did it at a low level. I never got it at a really, really high level. Once players started to throw Uncle Charlie at me, once we got the big 12-6 curveball, I tapped out. There was no shot that I could barely hit a fastball, and now you're throwing on all this stuff. But the margins of error when it comes to hitting are something that's always fascinated me. It's a game based on failure. The best players in the world are going to fail, as in not get on base or not have a productive out, at least 50% of the time. At least. Even Barry Bonds, at the height of him Barry Bondsing, only succeeded about half the time. And then about a third of that were home runs and, all of the, greatest hitter of all time type vibes. As we take a look at the clouds, this is a great, for whoever's listening out there, thanks for joining us on Flow College. McKalen Bonnick-Jeteris again, just absolutely vamping through the rain delay. What a fantastic first introduction to, not only for me as the league, I've now watched WCBL, and if I call them WBCL, just wash over that. That's going to happen for sure, but I keep looking back to the logo to make sure I say it right. Well, I'm just going to say WCBL, and if I mix up the letters, I mix up the letters. But it's a great introduction for not only me. The first half an hour of WCBL baseball that I've watched has been children pointing at clouds because of this rain delay, and the first 30 minutes of WCBL baseball that you guys have heard me call has been episode 1 of the Giants podcast, hosted by your very own Michaelan Bonnick-Jeteris. There are buttons I could click that would take us to a rain delay screen, but I rested my voice for this. Gosh dang it, I'm gonna talk my way through it and continue to come up with anecdotes as players now sprinting across the field. It really does feel like somebody must have done somebody must have done something. This was as clear as day, no pun intended. It was as clear as day right up until the moment where they wanted to play baseball, and now players running from dugout to dugout. This might end up being pushed back. We're still gonna have to wait and see, but I don't mind filling the space. This is more my speed anyhow. In my professional life as a YouTuber and a live streamer, this is kind of more what I'm used to in terms of casual nature. And oh no, player drops his hat. That hat is going to be soaked, but he gets it at the warning track. A fantastic recovery before that hat got too dirty. Thank your teammates and put a gold star next to that one. As we're feeling a little deprived for some action. Oh, another hat gone with the wind. It's all right. They'll pick it up quickly and head to the opposite dugout. I do think that this game is going to be held in a lengthy delay. It might be pushed back. I will wait to hear from the general manager, Josh, who I will have on speed dial on my phone. But either way, for the 5, 10, 15, 20 people watching, however many people are watching this rain delay, wondering who did they give the microphone to? It's Michaelan Bonnick-Jeteris here in Edmonton, Alberta, calling his first ever Giants game, which has started and ended seemingly almost at the exact same time. I'm wondering any other great baseball stories that I could tell. There's so many great new baseball podcasts out there. I have absolutely loved the Kevin Pillar has one out there. There was one, I can't remember the names. It was a football guy and a baseball guy. They have really good clips, getting a lot of Gary Sheffield on. So many great baseball podcasts to listen to now. And we'll add this one to the list. Michaelan hosts the Fort McMurray Giants rain delay. This might actually inspire me to do my own YouTube radio show. I do a lot of YouTube videos in a professional capacity, but I've never talked over a rain delay so extensively. And I was fully within my rights to simply put up game and delay and not talk, but I want you to know that I come from a background of sports entertainment, brother, and I'm here to entertain you to the best of my abilities. As we see a Blue Jay hat down there in the bottom left, if you guys are Blue Jay fans, Charlie McAdoo hit his first big league home run. That was very exciting as they are leading the Orioles, the Blue Jays, 6-5, headed to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Sorry for any of you who were keeping track of that score. And you know what? Why not? Let's go around. Let's go out of town scoreboard. What are we doing? Out of town scoreboard. As mentioned, it was the Cactus Rats and the Giants to be played today. The last 2 games that were set to kick off the weekend in the West Division. The Bulls and the Dogs both got wins over the Bombers, sorry, not the Boomers. Forgive me, Brooks Boomers. Clip that and put it on their social media. And the Sylvan Lake Gulls with a loss, and the Bombers as well. Okotoks Dogs and the Lethbridge Bulls, both with 1 win. And then in the East Division, the 3 teams with victories, the Express, the Red Sox, and the Berries. And then the Mavericks, 57s, and Beavers are 0-1 very early in the year, so not really much to look at there. In terms of other games that have been happening this weekend, we don't want the schedule. Here we go. Yesterday, there were 5 games on the docket. The Regina Red Sox playing at Athletic Park took down the Medicine Hat Mavericks by a score of 8-6. The Moose Jaw Miller Express at Mitchell Field won 6-4 over top of the Swift Current 57s. Okotoks Dogs 8-4 victory at Gull Stadium over top of the Sylvan Lake Gulls. And the Saskatoon Berries absolutely thumped the Beavers from Weyburn 13-3. That was played at Tom Lang Park. And closing out the action on Thursday, it was the Lethbridge Bulls 8-3 over top of the Brooks Bombers. That was at Spitz Stadium. And then the action today that has already either been underway or in final. We only have one final in the book, and it was the Saskatoon Berries taking on the Beavers 18-0. An absolute thumping happening earlier today for the Saskatoon Berries. And the other games that are happening, obviously, this one here, Cactus Rats and the Giants in delay, likely going to be postponed. We will wait our final word. The Gulls are taking on the Dogs. They are 0-0 in the bottom of the first. In the top of the second, it's the Mavericks and the Bombers. The Mavericks are threatened with 1 out and 2 on, second and third, as they trail 2-1 in the top of the second inning. The Red Sox taking on the Express. The Express are up 2-0 in the bottom of the second. And then the Swift Current 57s and the Lethbridge Bulls also yet to begin. Top of the first, nobody on, nobody out, no count game yet to have begun. I don't have any sponsor commercials to play, and I don't think I'll be getting in trouble for not playing any commercials, given the situation of this game, let's say. But let's shout them out anyway. Let's shout them out anyway. Assets for streaming as they're sprinting across the field. Guys, this rain is coming down hard. You can see it filling up now, pools, and no tarp being laid over the field, which leads me to believe that this game will in fact be called, as it is going to take, from what we've seen here with the rain, at least 60 to 90 minutes for this field to be at all playable. If the rain were to stop now, it continues to fall. I suspect that this game will be called and we will pick up the action tomorrow. But really quickly, the customers, the sponsor reads, we usually have advertisements that will play over the screen, but let's just shout out BrokerLink. You got to love BrokerLink. I think I'm with BrokerLink, and they're you know what? I'll make up my own little reads for them as well. BrokerLink, they're awesome. Is your link broken? Check out BrokerLink. I don't really know what they do. I think they're an insurance company. IKS Media. Do you want the best media of all time? It's at IKS Media. Check out IKS Media, the greatest media that you have ever seen. Feel free to take that, IKS Media. You can put that on your radio show. Sentinel Storage. When you put your stuff in storage, do you want an old English soldier to guard your things? Go to Sentinel Storage. Every single storage locker has one of those old-timey with the big feather hat type guys. Every single storage locker has one of those guys at guard 100% of the time. That is Sentinel Storage. Obviously, that's a joke. It's just a normal storage facility. But just having a little bit of fun. It'd be cool if they were guarded by the same people who guarded the Queen. Play Alberta. That's for gambling. I only gamble with my wife and seafood. But if you like to gamble with sports, go over to Play Alberta, where you can sell the farm or buy the farm. Farms are available with the amount of money that you can either win or lose at Play Alberta. Play responsibly. Fortress Alberta. No idea what they do at all. Could give them a quick Google. Fortress Alberta. They look great. They sound great. And I can tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, they are the best at what they do. What do they do? I don't know, but I know they're the best at it. They're a local, reliable, and invested in Alberta's future. You know what? Fortis Alberta, that doesn't tell me pretty much anything. Safe and reliable electricity. Everyone needs electricity. And you know what, Fortis? We might not need you to provide electricity, as we have electricity swimming around the ballpark now as the lens is getting covered with water. The rain is falling hard, and episode 1 of the Giants podcast might very well go down in infamy. For myself, Macallan Tate, Bonnick Jetteris. Follow me on the socials. Macallan on the mic. That is Macalan on the mic. I was hoping to do some awesome clips of my amazing play-by-play calling for my first ever time doing baseball, but gee whiz, I do not think that we are going to be getting there today. But I'm on the clock. I will wait until they tell me to go home. These kids are having a good time as this is starting to really pour. I should be a meteorologist because I'm amazed by the weather. We just had some crazy weather here in Edmonton. It left and seemingly went up north real quick. What's the Giants' record historically in the WCBL? Oh, I'm so glad. Historically, their record in the WCBL, 125 and 154. That is a .448 winning percentage. Check that out on the Wikipedia page. The game is over. We could hear from a fan in attendance. I don't think you needed us to tell you that. But, yeah, this game will definitely not be played today. Make sure you go to the WCBL website and to the Fort McMurray Giants, or even to the Cactus Rats, which is one of my favorite names out there, the Cactus Rats. Go over to their websites. Make sure you're following them on social media, whatever their handles are. If you just look up the Cactus Rats, the Giants, you know how to find it. If you don't know how to find it, ask one of your nieces or nephews or kids how to find it, and it will be found. And there, I'm sure you will get live, up-to-date information based on when this game is going to be played. As we got the introductions. Here's the players. We got a nice message from Josh, who has my favorite accent in the world, and that is rural Canadian accent. I grew up in the city. I got a touch of it if I go back to the farm. But I absolutely love that real Canadian accent, eh? Like my wife comes from Minnesota, and she's got a little of that too. And it's almost like a Bret Hart. Like there's something that's not obviously that's a caricature, but Josh has a touch of that, the GM of the Giants, and it's just wholesome. He just sounds like a guy you want to get a pop with, you know? So mad love to Josh for giving me the opportunity to hop on the mic. As our live feed completely melts away, I'm not sure, now it's back. I'm not sure how to close this out, as the Bombers are now tied up with the Medicine Hat Mavericks. The Mavericks have the bases loaded with one out now, trying to take down the Brooks Bombers early, blow this game open in the second. As I might as well do some live stats for the other games. For those of you paying attention to the NHL, looks like we have our finals in the books in the NHL. Barring something truly unbelievable, it will be the Hurricanes against the Vegas Golden Knights. For us NHL fans up here, that's a tough sell. That's going to be a tough sell. I mean, Raleigh shows up. They have a lot of great fans. So does Vegas, but just globally, I'm not sure how, it's no Dodgers-Yankees World Series. Let's just put it that way. It's no Toronto, Los Angeles, Stanley Cup final or nothing like that. As the Blue Jays also made their game final in the Major League Baseball. That's always fun. 6-5. Thanks to Charlie McAdoo, one of my favorite names in all of baseball, hitting his first big league home run. I mean, these kids are now walking through piles of puddles. And I will just stay on the line. I am extremely confident that this game is called and will not be played. They're in the same time zone as me here, so it's almost 8 p.m. local. In terms of lighting, they do got the big lights here. I know these young men do like playing under the lights. But playing under the lights, especially first game of the season, I mean, I know these guys, they don't really get an off season. They might get like a week or two in between the seasons that they play. But I'm sure there was a little bit of a ramp up period for a lot of these guys. The different schedules, different situations, depending where the players are coming from. You don't want this to be the first game of the year. You don't want there to be risks, the mucky field, the tough landing spot for the pitchers. I think it's definitely the right move to just push this till tomorrow. Hopefully a doubleheader tomorrow, and we can get baseball started nice and early. I'll be out playing a benefit concert with the band for the Stollery Children's Hospital here in Edmonton. We're doing a big benefit concert, which is a lot of fun. Always for a good cause. Maybe we'll have to take the trip up north sometime and play in front of the Giants fans, whether at a local spot or perhaps partner up with the team. You never know. I'm spitballing here now. We're just shooting ideas. My name is Mikhail, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Been married for 7.5 years. We don't have any kids. I will relocate to play some music for the fans. As Carly Rae Jepsen, I think, takes us to a party. It sounds like it's vibing. Sounds like it is vibing down at Legacy Dodge Field. Shout out to Legacy Dodge up in Fort McMurray. So maybe they're just partying inside. I'm sure the players don't mind this. You want to play, but Friday night, maybe you get to go have a good time. I'm not sure. I heard a fan say the game is over. I do see some coaches there on the left. Now it looks like they're trying to scoop the water. You can see way down there on the left, there was a gentleman they were trying to scoop water onto the field as it is now beginning to flood the seating area. What other baseball anecdotes? What else do we got? I wish I could see, like I had said, professionally, I do a lot of YouTube and live streaming. Normally, I can see the chat. Normally, I can interact with chat. I wish I could say hello to. Oh, hold on, we got something. All right, so the game's not called, just rain delay, and I'm not familiar with the WCBL rules in terms of if this game will end up getting called early. Are they just going to try and get, 6 innings in and then call it then to try and keep the schedule? I'm not sure. But still, the news is just in rain delay. The Medicine Hat Mavericks were able to score one more in the top of the second with the bases loaded and 1 out. They now lead 3-2 over top of the Bombers. And another bases loaded watch, this time for the Moose Jaw Miller Express over top of Regina. They're already leading 2-0 in the bottom of the second. They have the bases loaded with 1 out. We got time, and you guys don't know me. Let's go through some of my favorite Yogi Berra quotes. Baseball fans around the world, even non-baseball fans, know the Yogi Berra quotes. Let's just go through some of them while we're here in rain delay and have ourselves a little bit of a chuckle. Always go to other people's funerals, otherwise they won't come to yours. That's a Yogi Berra quote. That's a little dark, but we're having a good time. If you don't know where you are going, you'll end up someplace else. Now that is deep. That one speaks to me through all of my life. If you don't know where you are going, you'll end up someplace else. I'll sidetrack slightly. That reminds me of a really good Oscar Wilde quote. Oscar Wilde said that if you're a young person and you want to be a politician and that's all you think about, you'll end up being a politician. If you're a young person and you're thinking about you want to be a cook, all you want to think about, you're going to become a cook. But he said if you live the free life, the artist's life, if you will, then you will become nothing, and that is your gift. I thought, wow. That, because we not to get too heavy here in rain delay, but this is baseball rain delay. This is what it's for. This is for getting real heavy. And Oscar Wilde, that's the gift, is you become nothing. And I feel like there's, grass is always greener type conversations to be had. But thanks to Yogi Berra and Oscar Wilde for giving us some great quotes to work with. Okay, more Yogi Berra. More Yogi Berra. You can observe a lot just by watching. This man was a genius. As we see some lightning now, the rain has slowed, hasn't completely gone away, and there is a little bit of lightning, so we'll keep our eye on what really matters. But more Yogi Berra, it ain't over till it's over. That's just true. Oh, I like this one. When you come to a fork in the road, take it. And I like to add my own onto that. I'll add my own little tag. When you come to a fork in the road, take it. You'll never know when you're going to need to eat some spaghetti. But I need my drummer here to do the rim shots for me. The future ain't what it used to be. Oh, Yogi Berra. Speaking through dimensions with that one. The future ain't what it used to be. Nobody comes here anymore. It's too crowded. Beautiful. He's just the king of paradoxes. He really is. But I relate to that. No, I don't want to go there anymore. It's too crowded. Yeah, everybody says that. Now it's empty. Now there's nobody there. I feel like there are businesses that have felt that big time. Okay, here we go. Cut my pie into 4 pieces. I don't think I could eat 8. Now, as a bigger man myself, pushing 250, don't want to brag. 6'3", 250, I'm a Bartolo Colon replica. I can relate to that because I feel like there are certain foods that I can eat any amount of what you put in front of me. Like chicken wings, I might only be hungry enough for 10 chicken wings. If you put 40 chicken wings in front of me, I will get close. Like I will. And so I feel like with pie, maybe that's not my thing. I'm more of a savory guy. But yeah, I definitely relate to that one, Yogi Berra. The tag on that one is pie. How many pie jokes exist on this Goodreads website? I don't want to look into it. Half the lies they tell about me aren't true. Half the lies they tell about me aren't true. What? This guy sounds like he was married 6 times. This guy sounds like he was out there. He was setting traps for his traps. I like that one, though. I wish I had an answer to that because I'm tired of answering that question. I feel like a lot of athletes can relate to that. Oh, your splitter wasn't working today. Would it have been, what do you need to do in order to get the splitter working today? I don't know. I was trying to get the splitter working today. Me and the catcher, man, we were all trying to get the splitter working today. If I knew how to get it working, you wouldn't have asked me this question. It's redundant. As somebody who asks people questions in a professional capacity from time to time, I can definitely feel the redundancies being glared back at me from whoever the subject might be. This is my all-time favorite Yogi Berra quote. If I was going to get words tattooed on my body, this might be at the top of the list. 90% of this game is physical, the other half is mental. Or I guess the quote as it's read here is 90% of the game is half mental. But the quote that I know is 90% of the game is mental, the other half is physical, or flip that around. I just think that speaks to baseball so beautifully. Kind of like the put yourself in a position to get lucky tangent I went on earlier. 90% of this game is mental, the other half is physical. Baseball, it's like, hey, don't worry, kid. You can go out there, do everything right, and execute, and maybe the game plan was wrong. You threw a perfect fastball up. Well, he was looking fastball up. Sorry. You could have thrown a really bad changeup low, and he probably would have swung. And that's just baseball. You can put a great swing on a ball, caught in center field, 95 mile an hour right at him, just or a little squibber. That's baseball, and you have to try and check the process before the results. But it's a results-based business. It's tough. More Yogi Berra quotes as we're in rain delay. I never said most of the things I said. My wife has probably heard me say that. My wife will be like, didn't you say that? And I'll say, I don't remember that. And she has like one of those, she has like a working memory, I don't have one of those. She has a memory that functions properly. More Yogi Berra. Welcome back to episode 1 of the Fort McMurray Giants baseball podcast, where we talk baseball and all things Giants. So far, there has been nothing Giants this year as we're still in rain delay, but more Yogi Berra quotes for your entertainment. It's tough to make predictions, especially about the future. Wow. This would have been so much fun to be in the media scrum with Yogi Berra. Just what is he going to come up with next? Mind you, this is like decades of quotes being compiled. As there now, you can see on the left of your screen, scooping water out of the dugout. If this game ends up getting played at all today, I personally would be shocked. I'm not sure when sunset is, but I guess, like I said, they have the big lights. I'm so old school baseball from my Bush League days being like, when does the sun go down? You can't play once the sun goes down. These kids are going to have no problem playing when the sun goes down. Much like Yogi Berra had no problem playing under the bright lights. Let's go back to some of his quotes. This is probably one of his best. I think I've said that a few times, but I love this Yogi Berra quote. If the world were perfect, it wouldn't be. Oh. Let's feel the spiritual nature in that. If the world were perfect, it wouldn't be. I could write an essay, a sermon. I could write so much about that. It's just so powerful. If the world were perfect, it wouldn't be. That's great. Okay, this is a classic. Deja vu all over again. Mwah. Thank you, Yogi Berra. As there's a kid down there really enjoying his orange juice. I mean, that water is deep. We can see some of the kids walking right along field level. And now, again, I'm kind of surprised. No grounds crew, no tarp. Not even if it's not over the whole infield, I understand that is quite an ordeal. But at least over the pitcher's mound, I'm sure the pitchers and whoever is responsible for these pitchers, so to speak, as there was a great play. Can I clip the replay of that? I don't think it's worth it. Way down there on the left, I'm not sure what these guys are playing. They're going to be catching food. Look at that. Oh, they're doing a little, look at that celebration to boot, throwing the spits, the M&Ms. Well, there you heard as we got quiet for the PA announcer. We have... Oh. Okay, so first pitch will either be tomorrow at 2:05 p.m., saying our PA announcer in-house over there in Fort McMurray for the Giants, or it'll be at around 8:20 if the rain does subside. As we have some more fantastic action, we can fully zoom in to what's happening there on the left of your screen. It looks like they're playing some sort of throw the spits in the air and catch them. Some sort of jackpot alive. That one dropped. So a lackluster play. You can tell the focus not quite there early in the year. Now it's up. Oh, that was a bit of a you take it, I got it type energy as they're continuing to fumble the ball. Or fumble the spits, I should say. As you can tell, I'm a desperate play-by-play announcer just trying to find something to talk about. Unfortunately, they're far away, and I can't fully tell the details of their game that they're playing. And I'm not sure how many more great Yogi Berra quotes we can go through here. Oh, this is just funny. I'd give my right arm to be ambidextrous. Thank you, Yogi. Thank you. I'd give my right arm to be ambidextrous. That's a good one. Okay, guys, pair up in threes. That's a good one. I know exactly what he means, but it doesn't make any sense. Oh, here he's playing with the negatives. You made too many wrong mistakes. Oh, did that girl just get doused in the front? We're having ourselves like a full splash park party as the rain is still falling. As we heard from our PA announcer, we are going to wait until 8:15, which will put me at about a full hour. We're going to call it entertaining. We're going to say a full hour of entertaining the masses here during this rain delay. With more Yogi Berra quotes. Why not? We're lost, but we're making good time. That is how I feel about my career sometimes. We're lost, but we're making good time. I'm not fully sure the mountain I'm climbing, but I'm finding switchbacks every chance I get. You know? That's a good one. I like that one. We would have won if we'd beaten you. That's like something an 8-year-old would say. We would have won if we had beaten you. If we scored more points, then we would have had more points than you, Buster. Rain continuing to fall. We are 15 minutes away from either calling a game or waiting till tomorrow. It'll either be at 8:20 tonight or at 2:05 tomorrow. Oh, this is a good one. A little bit more about maybe the inflation that we're experiencing in today's world. A nickel ain't worth a dime anymore. I'm sure they all laughed at that really hard, whereas, in the last 10 years, that's pretty close, actually. A nickel ain't worth a dime anymore. It's getting late early. We can feel that one here today. It is getting late early, isn't it? It's already 8 o'clock, and we haven't even seen a pitch in this rain delay game. It is, in fact, getting late early. No matter where you go, there you are. That sounds like he had a little bit of a recreational situation happening to him. Maybe he was out having pops with his buds. You never know. You have to give 100% in the first half of the game. If that isn't enough, in the second half, you have to give what's left. You could tell that Yogi Berra became a very successful manager. As we got some kids tossing a pigskin out there on the left. Let's see. A little Patrick Mahomes-y action. A little Johnny Manziel action. Look at that. Not a bad spiral. You want to see that more in the pocket, though, as we're going to be playing a little small triangle games. Oh, they're going to be going back and forth. Maybe this is, and I wish I knew, but I just don't. Maybe this is the starting pitcher, number 33. Looks like it might be. Just making sure his arm stays a little bit loose. Toss the pigskin a little bit. As we get geared up for our CFL season, that is why Graham isn't on the call here today. He's out with our CFL Elks doing some PA announcing with a mutual friend of ours, Dan. We'll shout out Dan. He's also doing some work there for the Elks. And then the NFL still has some time, and college football, I think just around the corner, sometime in the middle of summer. I'm not as big into college football as I should be, but my father-in-law did graduate from Notre Dame, so I guess I will support the Fighting Irish as best as I can. Rain is still falling. 8:02 is the call. I would truly be shocked if they try and get this game in, given just what the quality of the field, but you never know. You never know. I could hear a decent amount of groans from the fans when they said you can come back tomorrow. I'm sure this puts a hiccup into a lot of people's Saturday plans. And unfortunate that this happens on opening day. Very first game. And just so funny. Just classic baseball. Oh, there's another big splash down there at the bottom of your screen. I wish I could shout at them. I would tell them to continue to give us something to talk about in this rain delay. I'm sure that Josh, or the general manager here for the Giants, Graham, who is, kind of gave me this opportunity as we know each other from the play-by-play world. I'm sure they are really going to enjoy the fact that this was an hour of McKalen hosting the first ever Fort McMurray Giants baseball podcast, with much support to Yogi Berra, as we still have some of his quotes to go through. Oh, this one's great. This is my type of comedy. I'm not going to buy my kids an encyclopedia. Let them walk to school like I did. Because the word cycle's in there. Hey? Encyclopedia. That reminds me of when my 4-year-old asked if a menstrual cycle was something he could get for his birthday. It's like, no, dude, you already have a bike. You do not need a menstrual cycle. Little League Baseball is a very good thing because it keeps the parents off the streets. Oh, yeah, it does. It does, man. Hey, I'm sure we feel it a little bit here in Giantsville, but this is collegiate level, so it's a little different. But I've worked a lot of youth, little kid hockey games. You have no idea. For those of you listening who aren't in Canada, if you're like, wow, Canada, you guys are really into hockey, huh? It's more. It's more than whatever you're thinking. I'm a hockey fan and I work in hockey, but it's honestly a little much. There's so much hockey. And some of the parents bring the streets to the game, unfortunately. As he's going to be throwing a 40-yard TD pass. Look at that spiral. Trying to catch it with his foot. Who's this guy over there at third base? Didn't even body up. Didn't even get in front of that. As the players are still all dressed, there's another toss back. See, that's how you catch it. See, you gather, and you get ready, and then a little soft punt. Oh, I see. That's why he didn't try and catch it. He doesn't know how. That's what happened. That's all right. Butterfingers McGee back there. He's got a great arm. It's hard to do both. Can't blame him. As there's some players over at third base as well, just trying to test out, I'm sure, the field, as we were about 10 minutes away from deciding if this game's going to be happening, and we got only a few Yogi Berra quotes left. Let's keep the ball rolling. I think we only got 4 left, and we will have done every single Yogi Berra quote that I could pull up on my phone here. If you ask me anything I don't know, I'm not going to answer. That one isn't that good. That was bottom of the barrel. There's a reason why that's at the bottom of the list. It's not the heat, it's the humility. It's a humiliated heat. You know, people say it's a humid humid heat. It's a wet heat. It's a humiliated heat. It's a humiliation type heat. He must have made that before he died. Again, a little dark, but just funny little paradox. If you can't imitate him, don't copy him. That's the last Yogi Berra quote. If you can't imitate him, don't copy him. Yogi Berra, one of the GOATs. I could also do some Munenori Kawasaki quotes. But I'd have to talk like he talks, and I don't think I want to do that on the live stream. But I do love some Munenori Kawasaki. Munenori Kawasaki said that he was pulled out of a game once because he cramped for the Toronto Blue Jays. I don't know if you guys remember this. So I can't remember who it was. One of the Sportsnet reporters. He was great at it. I can't remember his name. A little cute guy, a little cutie. He looked like a Oompa Loompa turned to a human being. He was adorable. He was a reporter for the Blue Jays. Sorry, shout. I was trying to paint him in a great light. He was really good at his job, but he was a smaller guy, and I'm a bigger guy, so I noticed those sorts of things. But he was interviewing Munenori Kawasaki. Hey, you got taken out of the game because, like, why did you get taken out of the game? And he said, because he cramped. He's like, so now I eat bananas, so I don't cramp. He's like, monkeys, 2 bananas every day, never cramp. Kawa, meaning himself, Kawasaki, 3 bananas. And that cracked me up. 3 bananas. 3 bananas, no cramp. And in his perfect broken English, it is true comedy. Comfortability in a broken English can be one of the best comedic devices used by anybody. And I've seen it firsthand. People who I went to school with who didn't speak a lot of English and then learned English throughout the way, a lot of their comedy was rooted in them because it was easy to find the jokes. Anyway, Munenori Kawasaki, one of the GOATs up here in Canada. Is there anything else I could ramble about? We got a couple more moments. If there is anybody out there listening to this rain delay and has been for the last hour, please go to my social media or go to the Giants' social media. Tag me if you've enjoyed this monologuing, if you're impressed by the monologuing, if you're annoyed by the monologuing, if you just want to make me feel something. Go to McCalan on the mic. That's MACALAN on the mic. Or tag McCalan on the mic. That's MACALAN _on_the_ mic. You know what it is. And be like, hey, man, this was funny. This was cool. This was neat. Good job filling the space. As these kids are having a great time, they have turned this place into a straight up splash park. As the rain does continue to fall, it is slowing down ever so slightly. Oh, see, and now you have moments like that where I don't know if you can play the game. I don't know what the rules are and they said if the rain settles down, but then there's the lightning. And they're using aluminum bats or whatever. I'm not sure. I know when I was umpiring baseball, if there was thunder too close, I was not going to take that chance. Are you kidding me? I'm not going to take that chance. Might be a little different where they're set up here. They have a lot more safety nets in terms of lightning with the foul poles and massive lights out there in center field and right field and left field. And no, might as well just go right center and left center field. And I'm sure even behind us. We are 6 minutes away from potential game being called. I'm telling you, it has all but stopped actively raining at the moment. Oh, we got news. Well, there you have it. We do have news. The players are going to start warming up. First pitch will be scheduled for 8:30, so it'll be a later night. But for opening day baseball, we do not mind. I've strained my voice a little bit with all the Yogi Berra quotes, but we're going to keep the ball rolling for baseball. Set to take off in about 20 minutes. First pitch. We will come back, but I will take a short little break, enjoy some water, stretch out the legs, and we will actually have baseball when we return. And it looks like we might actually get some baseball as the Fort McMurray Giants take the field for their home opener only 90 minutes after its scheduled time, as there was a torrential downpour for about a full 90 minutes. I'm going to say by the skin of their teeth, able to get this game in as the blue skies are peeking back. And warming up is Ash Amerlin, who will be the starting pitcher. The hard-throwing lefty will be pitching towards Suave, who will be the battery mate. We'll take a quick look at the defense lining up behind Amerlin now. In the outfield, from left to right, please take into consideration, I may have never said these names before. We got Patillo in left field. Center fielder going to be Avila, and in right will be Santiago. Third baseman will be Torres. Starting at short, Tetrio. We're just going to go with Tetrio as I add my francophone action to it. Fujino will be starting at second base, and the first baseman is Walters. Designating hitter, or the offensive player, the OP, as our friend George Springer likes to call him, will be Dick. Batting third as the designated hitter, and Amerlin pitching to Suave, the battery mate. Apologies to all of the names that I get wrong. You can chuckle along with me, but I have a name that people have been getting wrong for a long time, so I'll say it now. It is Michaelin Bonick-Jeteris. So excited to be calling the home opener for the WCBL Giants against the Energy City Cactus Rats. A lot of the other games that started at this time are nearing their completion now, pretty much all of them in the bottom of the fourth, more than halfway through, as the lengthy rain delay pushed us back, but the sun is still shining, and they have bright lights out there in the outfield. This game will likely take us past sunset, as first pitch now nearing 8:40, as Amerlin continues his warm-up pitches to Suave. Now he'll call for one more and throw it down as the batting Cactus Rats get ready. And in their batting order, the first to be dealt with will be Owen Wales. Hiraku Aikida will be batting second. Dan Kawanishi will be batting third. Stephen Furman. Then Carson Burnett, followed by Riley Quack, David Simmons, and Angel, as Wales will get announced in. And then batting eighth is Angel Cartagena. And batting ninth is Micah Cervantes is what we're going to go with, as it looks like we're ready for our first pitch. The only problem is we don't have a camera. Now it's coming. Oh, and there's our first pitch, and looks like a foul tip strike. As we'll go to this camera. Now things appear to be all ready to rock. Michaelin Bonick-Jeteris here with the call. First pitch, a strike. Now 0-1, Amerlin. The 0-1 is down and in. That'll be backhanded for a ball. Then picked up by Suave. Thrown back to Amerlin. As now with a 1-1 count, Amerlin deals towards Owen Wales. Quick toe tap. The right foot now set. Up, down, pitch in, and that one is struck. That one's going to be going deep to left field. Stretching out with the left hand. They make the catch. Left fielder coming across to the alley, Patillo. Great play ranging towards the gap. That's always tough. You take it, I got it, but Avila and Patillo doing a good job of communicating. Now one out, fresh out. Digging in is Torres. Here's the pitch. Right down the middle, strike one. Amerlin wearing 33 on his back. Not much of a lean in at all to get the call from the catcher. Here's the kick up and the pitch. That's right at the top of the zone. Strike two. And our first 2-strike count as Amerlin looks for his first strikeout on the young season. Here's the pitch. To home plate. That's a low off speed. They'll have to complete the strikeout, and they will with a throw to first base. The first strikeout for Amerlin. And now 2 gone in the inning. I mean, great sequencing. The first pitch was a show-me fastball. Here it is. Took it all the way after the early out for the first batter. And then that really nice high fastball setting up the low change. Now Amerlin looking to bunt is Dick. Maybe a show-me bunt, as you don't often see the designated hitter squaring around. Forgive me. All backwards on this one. First game of the day, looking at the wrong lineup sheets. First game of the year for me. That was Aikido who struck out, of course, as we know. And Dan Kawanishi is up to bat now, turning for bunt. We'll get it all set up now. Here's the pitch. High fastball, swing and a miss. That was actually strike 2, as the count now 1-2. Forgive us. Umpire there to make the call. 1-2. And here comes the 1-2 pitch. Nice slider. Throw it down. A strikeout to be had. 2 strikeouts in the inning. No hits. And it will be the Giants coming to bat in a moment.
For more than 25 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Access Storage. Buy Canadian. Store Canadian.
Bring you back inside Legacy Dodge Field. Finishing up their warm-up pitches is Sol Mata, another lefty. 2 southpaws on the mound dueling today. Amerlin had 2 strikeouts in a perfect top of the first, retired in order. Now the Giants for their first chance to bat. It'll be a lefty-on-lefty matchup as Mata against Avila, the center fielder. Here's a pitch from Mata. That one just underneath the zone. Wanted the call but didn't get it. That will be ball 1. Now the 1-0 pitch. Just down and away. A good job by framing. Trying to get that pitch up just a little bit too low. And Mata's got to try and find the zone now. 2-0 here to Avila. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and that's going to be a ways inside. 3-0. As apologies, not sure if the camera going back and forth is being seen on your end as well. I'm trying to change it manually, but I think I fear it might have a mind of its own at this point. That one is going to be too low. That will, in fact, be a walk. And our first runner on, 4-pitch walk to Avila. Mata still yet to throw a strike. As the third baseman, Torres, will now find his way into the box. The righty on lefty matchup. Deep squat in the batting stance, and there's a pitch just a touch low. Not going to give him the call. Hasn't thrown a strike yet. You're going to have to make it look better than that, says the home plate umpire. As Torres with a man on first, looks in, 1-0 count. Mata. That is going to catch the edge of the zone. First strike of the day for Saul Mata. Gets the sign from the catcher. Bouncing on the right foot. Keeping the weight on the back leg. The quick action, and then that one is hit through the hole on the left side. Base hit. Staying at second will be Avila. And the Giants have their first hit of the game. Runners now on first and second with nobody out. Now digging in, batting third. That one's low. Only really 2 strikes that have been thrown so far in this game by Saul Mata. One of them was hit through the left side on a single. The other one barely a called strike, and now starting this one out 1-0. Maybe a little bit of early season jitters. That one's going to be low now, 2-0. Good chance for the Giants to try and strike early. We were talking Yogi Berra quotes before the game. Baseball, 90% physical, the other half mental. Lengthy rain delays really flex that mental muscle. Fair lead off a second from Avila. Here comes the pitch. Mata, that one's low, not even close again. I really hope that camera change isn't being showed through our live stream. On my end, it just keeps going back and forth, so it's giving me a bit of a chuckle. Either way, all you need to do is hear is there's a pitch right down the zipper, and that's what he needs from that fastball. Find that release point this early in the season, this early in a game. You're just trying to throw a strike. If he beats you, he beats you. You tip your cap. You kind of made your bed. Now you have to sit in it with the 2 guys on and nobody out. But you got to start throwing strikes here for Mata. Oh, and that one's going to be popped straight up into the air. Infield fly is called. The catch is made. Even though it was all elementary, we have our first out. As Dylan Walters now stepping in after Dick with the pop-up. And that is a fantastic result for Mata. As Walters digs in with 2 on, and he's going to ground that ball foul on the left side. With the 2 runners on, actually. We'll keep it here, as this camera, I think, does a better job of making sure we see everything. Especially with the 2 runners on. A lot of action. There's a ball up and away. That will trail out for a ball. Count now 1-1. Foul ball to start from Walters. That's going to be a balk is the call. Yes, a balk. A little bit of an extra move. So the count will stay at 1-1, but you could tell out there on the mound, it's been a tough start already for Saul Mata. Just a little hesitant movement once you start that shake and you don't commit to either a pickoff or a play to the plate. You start and stop, that's going to be called for a balk every day of the week. So now runners on second and third with one out. You got to try and get one in here. The runner on third and less than 2 outs. Here's a foul tip. It looked like maybe caught a piece. Maybe missed it entirely. Either way, it was caught. And now 2 strikes on the hitter. Saul Mata with the leg kick and the pitch. That one fouled into the netting, almost up here by the press box camera. That will keep the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Avila with a walk, Torres with a single, and Dick with a pop-up. Then the balk taking a seat with Walters. 1-2 pitch. That one right down the zip, and strike 3 is called. 2 outs as Saul Mata tries to tightrope out of danger. Letting the first 2 guys on, I think out of the first 8 pitches he threw. The first 8 pitches, I think 6 of them were balls. So a great way to start the season. You build some adversity and you try and dig out of it for Saul Mata. There's a pitch up and away. That'll be taken for ball 1. Up to bat now is right fielder Santiago. Mata. The right leg up. Here's a ground ball hit towards the third base side, but that'll be a couple feet foul. Another 2-strike pitch. That one. Another 2-out pitch, sorry. That one will lead to 2 strikes. 1-2 is the count as that one was swung on and missed. Huge chance here for Mata to get some momentum back. It all started great for the Giants. Now 1 strike away from getting out of this inning. Here's the pitch. Up and away for a ball. Count to 2-2. I see the fans still in attendance there behind home plate. That bottom level is deep, and I mean deep in water. There's a ball. Please forgive me. I do not know why these cameras keep going back and forth. I keep trying to look at the portal to see if that is what is in fact being seen on your end for all of you watching and listening around on Flow College. Either way, it's a 2-2 pitch. That is going to be swung on and missed. A strikeout, a walk, a hit, a balk, and 2 left on. We will head to the top of the second. Back to the mound is Amerlin. As coming back to bat now is Stephen Furman. You heard from the in-house PA announcer. If he doesn't get on first, they'll have some sales on the adult beverages around the ballpark, which is nice. There's a pitch, almost the back foot slider, but getting out of the way was Furman. As Amerlin continues to dig in. That is 1 ball count. Great chance for the Giants in the bottom of the first with a walk and a hit and a balk. Unable to push one across. Amerlin tries to repeat what he did in the first. Is that one right to Furman? He will take first base. He is down in a heap as that one caught him square in the back with a heater. Well, when it comes to hit by pitch, they normally only get better in terms of the pain, but you can tell feeling it now is Furman. Looks like he will stay in the game, make his way to first base. First base runner. For the Cactus Rats, coming by a hit by pitch. As Amerlin maybe overthrew that fastball just a little. The blue skies are coming. I was very surprised to see them keep this game happening today, just with the mound quality. You could see before what ended up becoming first pitch, they were out there checking, making sure that all managers and players were comfortable with working with what they have. As now the hit by pitch, runner on first. Digging in is Burnett. Pitch to Burnett, that one painting the down and away corner, but the umpire not giving him the call. Ball 1. Amerlin comes steady. Now the pitch, that one also maybe deflected off a calf, headed right to first base. As quick as can be was Burnett. So 2 hit by pitches. Now to start the top of this second inning. No score so far, but the Cactus Rats are threatening. A little bit of a different look from what we saw in the first inning. As you can tell what sport I'm used to looking at. Now runner on first and second. Amerlin tries to get out of it. There's a pitch going for a curveball, just trying to slide it in there. But Quack watched it tail outside, continue outside, and spin into the catcher's mitt. 1 ball. There's another one. That one may have caught him. They're going to advance the runners on this play. A wild pitch will undoubtedly be the call. 2 balls, no strikes, and now runners on second and third. Quack didn't make a motion like that hit him was Riley, but you can tell Amerlin losing the handle a little bit in the second inning. Had 2 strikeouts in the first inning, closed out the inning with a couple Ks. As again, apologies for the camera action. If I knew why it was doing that, I would make it stop. I'm all for a lot of camera cuts, but when you're going back and forth from 2, it's a little bit redundant. As that one's pitched outside, that is going to be a 3-ball count. Got to imagine they're going to put him on here, try and get lucky with a ground ball. The 3-0 pitch. Amerlin kicks, fires, cross the body, as that one was received inside for a ball. Bases are now loaded with nobody out for the Cactus Rats. David Simmons, number 9, digging in now for the Cactus. With a great opportunity to get our first run of the game. Make that plural. Amerlin, that one will be a call to ball. Looked good from here. The umpire much closer. Still nobody out in a 1-0 count. Here's Amerlin. Amerlin kicks, fires. That one will be called a strike. Feigning the swing. As the fans try and get behind the Giants in a pickle in the top of the second. There's the kick, and that one will be called a strike, just catching the inside corner. Now 1 ball, 2 strikes. A big at-bat. If you're able to get Simmons out without that run crossing, that'll do a lot for the momentum going forward throughout this inning. 1-2 Amerlin. There's the pitch. That one will be called a ball, as we will keep it on this camera to make sure we can see all the action as it happens with the bases loaded. There's the pitch, strike 3, leaning over the plate, and he gets the call. Amerlin with a huge strikeout, already his 3rd of the game, but still a lot of work to do. Bases loaded and 1 out. I cannot... We're having a good time over here calling this game remotely. Camera keeps bouncing around, and it's we're doing it on hard mode, but that's fine. I like hard mode. Amerlin must like hard mode, as he's pitching out of a jam now. 1 strike with 1 out and the bases juiced. Cartagena, number 23 for the Rats. Here's the 1-0. That one outside. Good stop by the catcher, ensuring that didn't go to the backstop. A deep backstop here at Legacy Dodge Field. A pass ball pitch will all but guarantee a run. Here's the 1-1. That one rifled up the middle, and we will get our first run, maybe runs. 1 runner in. Here's the play at the plate, sliding in safe, and the Rats score 2. A big single from Angel, and they're up by a deuce. Runners from 2nd and 3rd scoring, and 2 across in the top of the 2nd. Now runner on 1st and 2nd, still just 1 out. There is a swing right through it, strike 1. Amerlin looks in with 2 runners on. The kick, the throw, a squibber down the 3rd base line, but that one will go foul. Now 2 strikes on the hitter, number 9 hitter, Micah Cervantes. Would love to induce a double play ball, but we'll be happy with a strikeout now. 0-2. Lead off a second, dancing slightly, trying to get the attention, but the attention back to home plate as that one's thrown just outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Amerlin set again. Toe on the 3rd base side of the rubber. for the lefty, a hard matchup, lefty-lefty matchup, and that one is going to be grounded towards third base, 6 to the second baseman, and that's going to be thrown away. An error on the play by the third baseman, then a long throw from right field, but sliding in safely, the run will score on the error. That was exactly how you draw it up for a double play ball. Unfortunately, just couldn't handle it was Torres, as that one sails into right field. Now 3-0 for the Rats. Got to make that play. You got to at least get one, even if it's not turned quick enough to get the two. You got to ensure that you can get one. And if they at least got that play at second base, that run wouldn't have scored, and you'd be one good pitch away from getting it out of this inning. But yet here we sit, 2 on, still just 1 out. There's a pitch down and in. That'll be called a ball. Runners on the corners. Turning the lineup over with that last hit as Owen Wales. The right-hander with a waggle. There's a pitch. Down and away is the call. Umpires in attendance wanted that to be a strike. Only opinion that matters. Keeps the count at 2-0. Hammerlin, pickoff move to first base. I promise I'm trying to keep the camera there to see plays like that. Make sure we see what's happening at first base. These things move quick. But this program seems to have a mind of its own as it cuts back faster than my brain here remotely can keep track of. As they are going to go, so it was a good move to first base. They were reading it right, but a stolen base nonetheless converted by Micah Cervantes. Hammerlin now infield coming in. 2 balls, no strikes. Here's the pitch. That one, actually it was 3 balls, no strikes, but that one will be called a strike by home plate umpire. Taking 1 step towards first base before being brought back into the right-handed batter's box. And this is Owen Wales. 2 runners in scoring position after the stolen base. From the number 9 hitter, Cervantes. Here comes the pitch. High, and called a ball. Umpire flinched for a moment, but they will keep it as is. Still just 1 out. I'm not sure how they score the errors. If there can be a 2-run or a 2-out error, because really they should have been out of this inning with the double play hit right to Torres at third base, threw it into right field. It was a tailor-made double play. Looking for a 5-4-3, and instead it's 1 out, and the base is juiced still for the Rats. Here's the pitch. That one is going to be hit behind home plate and out of play, as that ball now sits in a pool of water on the bottom right of your screen. You see the splishy, splashy kids going to collect the souvenir. I don't think the umpire is going to necessarily want that one back. You can take that home. As Ikeda digs in. Hammerlin with the pitch. That one, a little bit of a check, excuse me, swing. It is flared down the right field side, but they are not going to have any room. Faintly chasing after it was Walters. Before watching it go out of play, now 2 strikes. Well, the inning starting with 2 hit by pitches, 2 hit batters. Not a great recipe for success. Hammerlin. Maybe 2 if it's good enough. Here comes the old big Uncle Charlie. That one did not catch the outside part of the plate. I started that one a little too open. It's hard to stay on top of that, and The weather definitely is going to play a part. It's not usually very humid up in Fort McMurray, but after a heavy rainfall like that, you might be feeling certain body textures, certain grips that you're not used to feeling. There's a swing and a miss and a strikeout for Amerlin with the bases loaded. Now 2 outs. One more big. And I say that with no shade whatsoever. Only 3 crossing the way that this inning has gone will be seen as a success going forward. Got to nip it in the bud a little earlier. Pitch to Amerlin. Lefty is the matchup. That one sliding outside as it's received by Suave. Or Salve. Who was the starting catcher today for the Giants. Here's Amerlin getting set once more. That one right down the zip, but good velocity. Very late on the swing. Kawanishi. That one outside. Bases still loaded. Most of the outs to this point have been strikeout. The one fly ball. That one's grounded right up the gut, fielded by Amerlin. The underhand play to first, and they will get him. The side is finally retired, but 3 runs on a hit batter, a couple of hits, and it is the Cactus Rats over top of the Giants 3-0. We head to the bottom of the second. As we get back to the bottom of the second, the Giants conceding 3 in the top half. They will have Mata to deal with. As digging in first is Salve, the catcher. That one just outside for a ball. Yes, that one way outside. Say it with me, fans. Just a bit outside. 2-0. As the right-handed catcher, Nick, Salve digs in, dealing with Mata. The line, the fire, the pitch. That one fouled far into the right field bleachers. Down that foul line and out of play. First strike of the at-bat. 2-1. Mata digging into Salve, the 5'11 catcher. That one up and away. Another ball. 3 balls, 1 strike to lead off the inning. Saul Mata bounces with the right foot. Fires back and right down the zip. Strike 3 as we had a mismatch count, as that was a called third strike right down the zip, and that is going to be the first out. Strikeout by Mata. And now is the shortstop ready to field the lefty-lefty pitch. That one swung on and missed the low fastball. Did not get the head out fast enough. 3-0. Now flies that ball high, straight up into the air towards left field. Left fielder and the shortstop. Maybe a little bit of you take it, I got it energy either way. That will be called off and played by the left fielder. The Rats now a quick 2 outs in the second. As the left fielder for the Giants side now, Patello comes up. Already 2 quick outs, exactly what the doctor ordered for the Rats. As that one is perhaps a broken bat. No, a bat that was helicoptered towards that third base dugout. They'll get a new piece of lumber. Will Brett Patello, utility player, marked, playing left field here today. He can play all over. And the big man, 6 foot 210, as listed on the WCBL website. There's a pitch, that one low. Now 1-1 is the count. Mata done a great job in this second inning. Had some trouble finding the zone in the first. Things have been working out much better here, as that's going to be a faint check swing foul off. Will in fact be a strike, as we've seen a couple of that, the indecisive nature. Always different vibes in opening day of any baseball league for any baseball season. But when your opening day is delayed by the better part of 90 minutes, just more hurdles to try and hop over. As the 1-2 pitch from Mata. The lefty fires high, fastball, swing and a miss. And he strikes him out to end the inning. We will head to the top of the third. It's the Rats still leading by 3. A great inning from Mata. as we welcome you back inside for the top of the third. It is Amerlin pitching against Steve Furman. If Steve Furman doesn't make first base, people get some discounted juices, as that one is grounded to third and right on the money. One pitch, one out, and that will be half-price beverages, or whatever the promo was for keeping Furman off base. That was the promo that was read in the earlier inning. However, he was hit by a pitch immediately, but this, a little bit of a redemption play for Torres, as that was hit on the screws right to him. Made a great play to first base. Walters didn't have to do much to collect the out at first. Not sure what they'll actually end up counting it, but in my books, all three of those runs unearned because of the error committed by Torres. Amerlin fires up and away, another ball. Not great ball to strike ratio for Ash Amerlin. He'll take outs any ways he can get them as he finds himself into a rhythm of this game. There's another little in-between. Foul ball is the call. So they will keep that as a strike, says home plate umpire. And that's a tricky one. That's all about where the ball was once the catcher was able to pounce and make contact with it. Umpire deeming that it was in a foul ball position. The catcher had to come out a little bit farther in front of home plate in order to catch that ball, then it would have been in play and a very tough out. As Carson Burnett digs in on the right-hand side. The pitch from the left. Amerlin comes in low, bouncing, no one on as that one rolls away. They're going to make an appeal down to first base before calling time. No swing. Now coming back in is Burnett. One out. Here in the top of the third, Giants down by 3. Amerlin with the pitch. Ooh, that was a tough reception is what I'll call that from Nick Salve, because that looked like it could have been a strike, but maybe a bit of a cross-up. He was looking to catch that on the outer half, had to move that glove to the inner half. Once you have to move that glove too much, and especially you have to snap it back, twist it around to try and make that catch, it's really tough for the umpires to see where that ball landed. A high pitch over top of the zone, says the umpire. And that will, in fact, be the first base runner of the third inning. As Carson Burnett on to first. Burnett was hit by a pitch, now taking a walk. Here's Riley Quack, who was also given a free pass as that first pitch went off wide. Amerlin, 1-0 pitch, runner on first. One out in the inning. There's a ball ripped into right field. That one is going to be down for a base hit. The throw goes all the way to third, but it's cut off at second. And a ripping single into right field from Quack. That will bring up Mr. Simmons, who is doing the DH duties today. Now a chance to knock in a run. Similar situation. Nobody in so far in this third inning. 2 guys on. A double play ball would get him out of it, but we already saw in the second, not all double play balls lead to double plays. Amerlin the pitch, that one up and away, trying to catch him as that was a delayed steal. Now they got him caught up in a rundown, and they will run him back to first and just be happy to keep the runners where they are. Good read behind the plate there from Salve. As perhaps we will keep our eye on that runner on first base as he might be active and ready to go. There's the pitch. Tough to read Amerlin. As you saw, that first move was back towards first base as another ball thrown by Ash Amerlin. Pitch to Simmons. That one inside, nearly caught him. But they'll say that it missed the knees. Now a 3-0 count. Not great command to this point for Amerlin. One out in the 3-0 pitch. There is the stolen base, and he had him easy peasy. There's no pop time. Would have saved that. You could see right at the bottom of your screen, right when that ball was being released by Salve, he was already sliding into second base. Now 2 runners in scoring position, with still just 1 out, double play no longer in effect. Pitch was a called strike, so 3-1. Stolen base might be a moot point. Oh, a late swing. Foul tip is the call. And Amerlin now trying to fight back in this at-bat. A very weird time to steal on the 3-0 pitch. Maybe you're just trying to hedge your bets, think that no one's thinking he's going. As the odds of that being a moot stolen base are fairly high, but Amerlin doing his best to fight back. Now a 3-2 pitch, the payoff. Here it comes. Way outside. Say it with me, just a bit outside. And that will be a walk to load the bases. Cactus Rats threatened in the first. Amerlin got out of it as we will now have a pitching coach meeting. Looks like they are going to keep Amerlin in the game. Definitely, this is not just a pitcher meeting. This is kind of for everybody, letting them know what they need to do defensively. Every play, I like to take this into all sports. Every single moment is a practice for the next moment. You have to see it like that. You make a mistake, you get yourself in a situation, okay, you got the bases loaded with 1 out. You try and execute here, but in the back of your mind, you know this is just preparation for the next one. It's all preparation for the next one, and as long as you're trending in the right direction, getting better, it's the cat's gravy. You're like a cat swimming in gravy. They love it. It's what coaches love. It's what scouts love. It's what I love. So I believe this is Angel Cartagena digging in. There's a pitch low for a ball and nowhere to put him. And that was in no doubt probably part of the messaging from the management team saying like, hey, you got to make them earn it. As we'll keep our eye on the field of play with the bases fully juiced. Pitch from Amerlin. That one is hit high and out of play over that first base dugout. Now 1 ball, 1 strike for Amerlin. Angel had the 2 RBI single earlier in the game. That was just in the second inning. Now is a chance to do some more damage. That one will be taken low for a ball. As Amerlin wipes some of the moisture off his left hand on his left leg pants, fumbles the ball around his left fingers before coming set with the bases loaded. 2 balls, 1 strike. Amerlin against Cargina, and that one is going to be taken low again. Now a 3-1 count, and nowhere to put him with the bases loaded. Being that this was my very first time calling any WCBL action, I was getting my once-overs from the other play-by-play announcer who I was tagging out, Graham, about different rules and things that I might encounter. This is going to be a very high-scoring game if this continues. Amerlin trying to shut it down here. That one is going to be outside for a ball. And 4-0 now is the score as they will walk in a run. 3 RBIs on the day now for Angel. As Micah Cervantes comes in for his second at-bat, 0 for 1 to this point. Bases still loaded with just the 1 out. There's the pitch. That one will catch the outside part of the zone as the big curveball starting right around the hitter's eyes. Hard to stay on that as a lefty. Amerlin's got that big high arm angle. He's got the height. Now the 0-1. There's another one. Hard to stay in there, but he did a good job. Thankfully, hasn't seen that fastball yet, or he may have been getting out of the way, as that one started right around the ears and nearly caught the top of the zone. Over top says the home plate umpire. 1-1 count. There's the pitch. That one fouled down the left field line and out of play. 1-2. Chance to really break the game open as Amerlin battles through the second, now the third inning. There's the pitch, down and away. Doesn't get the call. 2-2 is the count. Looks like the Giants have done a good job of getting people back in the seats after the lengthy rain delay. But you can tell they're all kind of pushed towards the top as the bottom, some minor flooding with the downpour that happened for the people in the front row. There's a high curveball. That one misses the mark mightily. We now have a full count with 1 out. You send the runners, Jim. You get weird with it. Get weird with it. It's a 3-2 count. Get fun. Let's send them. Let's see something crazy. Very much doubt they'll be sending the runners in a moment like this, but you never know. Here comes the pitch. That one is going to hit the batter as he is pumped up. Bat flipping off the hit by pitch. That was a curveball, so you know it didn't sting too bad, but it will bring in another run. Now 5-0 for the Rats, and manager coming out for Amerlin. That will very likely do it for his outing, as this is the second manager meeting. As there we hear our new pitcher coming in, Diego Fuentes will inherit the bases loaded with 1 out when we come back.
For more than 25 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Access Storage. Buy Canadian, store Canadian.
Now we come back to the action. That one fouled away. As now pitching is Diego Fuentes. Make sure I write that one down as he inherits the bases loaded with one out. And here's the right-hander. The pitch. Fouled behind, now 0-2. It's just what you want to see. A lot of strikes being thrown here from Diego. Chance for the strikeout. Fuentes looking in for the sign. 0-2 pitch. And there's a ball hit to right field. Going back is the right fielder. The catch is made. A long throw into third. And that one bouncing, but a great stop by Torres to keep that from going too far. It will result in a sacrifice fly and runners on the corners. Now 6-0. But he got the out. You come in and you get the out. The runner still the responsibility of Amerlin. 6 runs being given up, trying to hold it to that 6 now as we reset the count with 2 outs. There's a pitch painting the outside corner and a strike one call. There's another one right down the zip as Fuentes is doing a great job just peppering the zone. Big 6'4" right-hander. I'm about as tall as him. I've got about 30 pounds on him, though, and it shows. As he gets set, sends a great changeup. Could have been a curveball, something off speed. It doesn't matter. All that matters is they strike him out and get out of the inning. We head to the bottom of the third. Now 6-0 for the River Rats. 6-0 for the Cactus Rats. There we go. Giants sets a bat in the third. As we come back now to the bottom of the third. Getting set is Fujino. Batting ninth, playing second base. Digs in against Matta. Here's the pitch. Up and away for ball one. Good job of being patient by the Cactus Rats. As there's a pitch at the bottom part of the zone, taken for a strike by Fagino. Good job by the Cactus Rats, disciplined, getting Amerlin out of the game in the top of the third, with 6 runs being counted against the lefty phenom. There's a ball bounced in low. 2-1 is the count. Dealing to Fagino. And we'll see how long Diego is going to go. The big right-hander coming in the top of the third. They're going to want to get some length out of him. Only getting the 7 outs as there's a ball spun. That one will be ticked away, or just completely missed, rather, as that is strike 2. 2-2 now is the count. There's a swing and a miss, and a mighty one at that. That's a great fastball high by Saul Matta, our first out, striking out Fagino. And that will turn the lineup over. Center fielder, speedster Avila, will dig in from the left-handed batter's box, as he now has to deal with the tough lefty-lefty matchup. One out after the strikeout by Matta. There's the pitch from number 14, a bouncing ball. That's going to be a bit of a swinging bunt. A tough play, spin, fire to first, and they get him. A great play off the mound by Matta. And you tell me pitchers aren't athletes. The spin, the fire, the out. A great play by Matta, and there's 2 gone in the inning. Great play through and through, is now 2 outs against the Giants. There's a ball bounced in low. As Matt has done a good job of being very efficient. No pitch count. I would have loved to have had a pitch count going as well. If I do a Giants game next, whenever I do a Giants game next, if it happens, I'm just going to get more and more prepared and more stuck into it. There's a nice pitch, Peyton, the bottom of the zone, strike 1. Here's Torres, waggling the bat. 1-1 pitch, a high curveball. That one over top of the zone will be called a ball. Matta resetting with Torres. As Torres will try and start a 2-out rally. Here's the pitch. That one grounded up the middle. It's going to have to be a nice play by the shortstop, but a nice play they make, and that will do it for the inning. Matta helping himself out as well, as he make a great play towards first base. We'll step aside, top of the 4th, in a moment. Well, I hope that wasn't heard over the broadcast, as whatever caused that noise was very tough in my headphones as we unmute our microphones to a screeching sound for me. Hopefully that wasn't heard for you, as we now have one strike on the batter. It is Fuentes staying in as that one goes out. Came into relief. Vamerlin. I believe now this is Aikita up to bat. No, it is Kawanishi, number 11, as that one's fouled back. 2 strikes. Fuentes with 2 strikes, throws a fastball up high, taking that one all the way. Bringing us to a 2-2 count. There's a nice pitch, but handled neatly. Grounded towards second base, but a bobbled play by the second baseman. Scratch that as an error. And a runner on first to lead off the inning. As a PA announcer, not sure if you can hear it over there on the live stream as I was trying to audit myself, but the announcer's been saying Steve Furman, if he doesn't get on first base, everyone gets 2 for 5 or 2 for 10 drinks at the bar, which is a fun promo to have as that one sails. Good job there. Salve just to keep that in front of him, ensuring that that runner didn't advance to second. Kawanishi is now going to draw a throw to first. Safe, says the call, as they'll bring it back to the pitcher, Diego Fuentes. As all these names are really good. We got some great baseball names out here. Diego Fuentes is one of them. 6'4" righty, now deals. This is a high fastball. Look like the base is purely stolen, and that it is. There's a great jump. I believe got the call on that pitch. As runner now moves into scoring position. Now dancing off second. There's a nice off speed on the lower part, just reaching for that. Down and away with the slider, it looked like. And Diego Fuentes trying to get the first out of the inning. 2 strike count. Looks the runner back, and then a very slow off speed. And a hefty swing and a miss. Strikeout for Diego. And with that, the beer's on sale as Steve Furman was struck out, did not make it to first. Now coming in is Carson Burnett. That's a tough look for Furman. He's wondering, why is everyone cheering so much louder when I strike out? Oh, it's because they get some cheap beers there, Furman. It's not that they don't love you and what you're doing, but everyone wants a little discounted soda, no? As there's a high ball for taken, 1-0. Fuentes looks back quick and then sends another pitch up high, missing in almost the same spot. So he has a few times already this inning. The setup pitch, that high fastball. He's been able to locate that slider nicely. We'll see what the call is from the catcher. If I really squint my eyes, I can tell you this is going to be off speed. Good job by the catcher recognizing what he's thrown, as that one on the lower part of the plate. That may have not actually been off speed. They may be mixing me up with signs, as they are going to have some coded signs with the runner on second. However, it does not look like Kawanishi is worried about anything other than bouncing off second base and maybe trying to get another 90 feet. There's the pitch, and that's that good off speed. Was a strike for a long time, but a good job to take it as it drops low. Top of the fourth. 3 balls, 1 strike. Burnett steps out. Fuentes steps off, and they'll reset again. Kawanishi right there at second, dancing off the base, trying to be a distraction there for Diego. And there is a pitch down and away. The distraction seemed to work. Runners now on first and second with still 1 gone in the fourth. That'll bring up Riley Quack. We'll have a shot with some runners on. There's a pitch low and kicked back to the backstop. That will send the runners and advance them both 90 feet. Runners now on second and third after the wild pitch. Great chance now to score some runs in the 3rd consecutive inning for the Cactus Rats. That one goes down and away. 2 balls, no strikes with the base open. You can't keep flirting with these base runners. Already 6 scored for ECCR. There's a ball hit straight up into the air. That will go back behind home plate and be a souvenir for a fan. Diego Fuentes is going to be happy getting a strike any way he can, but he would have loved for that to stay in play and get the pop-up out. And as the Giants look for their first clean inning since the first. There, it's not going to come here as that is line to right. No, a great catch made as that was hit on an absolute line. A play at home plate, and they got him! What a dart from right field as Santiago from way downtown. A double play, and that will end the inning. Santiago, a cannon from right field. Locked and loaded. I'll be back, baby. And we are back now in the bottom of the fourth. A great play from right field by Santiago. Some momentum to be earned by the Giants as they now come to bat in the bottom of the fourth. Low pitch, down for a ball. As we're now partway through this game, a lot of the other games that were happening obviously started on time and are about ready to enter the final books. Go on over to WCBLBaseball.com to stay up to date with all the live stats and scoring information. There's a soft ground ball hit to the shortstop, play to first base. 6-3, out number one for the Rats. As now batting fourth and playing first base is Walters. Great job by Solmata. Still scoreless is his pitching line with one out in the fourth. They're starting with a outside pitch for a ball. As I wish all of you listening here on Flow College could hear the gnat sound, the in-game sound as well. As there's a very lively crowd with the hoots and hollers and the whistles as Mata whips in a strike, 1-1. I can hear him clear as day, and I absolutely love it. I wish you could hear him too. There's a high curveball just tickling the top of the zone. Now 1-2 to Walters. Mata, high fastball. I could hear a grunt as he was trying to give him his best fastball, but that one missed high. Now 2-2. There's a pitch hit directly into the sky. Catcher might have a play on it. No, first baseman might have a play on it. Right fielder might have a play on it. And in fact, that was an out. There's the pitch down to Santiago, the right fielder, who had a fantastic play in right field. A great double play. It was a hard line drive. As we will reset our count there, 1-0. Hard line drive hit right to him in right field. Looked like it may have been over his head. It had base hit written all over it. Was able to catch it up high, take his couple steps, and throw a seed to home plate. Great tag on the back end as well from Nick Save. There's a ball hit through the hole on the left side. Shortstop couldn't handle it. And a single for the Giants with 2 outs in the fourth. Mitch Salve now coming up to bat with Santiago at first. That was a great job of staying on that baseball, keeping your hands back. It's all about how long can you keep that sweet spot traveling through the zone, through the hittable window, we like to call it. Did everything right on that swing. Hit it hard for a base hit. As there's a ball hit hard. That one is going to right field. Back and caught at the track. A near home run swing from the catcher, but that will retire the side. 1 hit, no errors, no runs as we head to the fifth. It's the Rats leading the Giants 6-0. As we come back now, top of the fifth, it is Diego Ventunes going up against Simmons. Here's the pitch from the big right-hander outside for a ball. As threatening were the Giants in the bottom of the fourth, unable to push anything across. Still down by a hefty margin of 6-0. There is a little half-swing bunt. That is going to be pushed right to the first baseman, and an easy play as you will ever make. One gone in the fifth. Cartagena now digging in with one out. Diego Ventunes is doing a fantastic job coming in relief. None of those 6 runs are on his line as he came in just partway through that third inning. As that miss is going to give us a talk here with the manager. This is the Giants manager. And you wonder if he saw something in the delivery of Fuentes. Or there might be changing pitchers. But maybe some more positional changes as well, as we'll have a new pitcher in this game for the Giants. Must be hit his pitch limit. After that first pitch ball, we'll have a new pitcher coming in the top of the fifth.